Hey everybody, it's me, Nathan. And I'm here to do the exact opposite of what I talked about in my last video, which was trying to focus more on the positive side to everything. Today, I'm here to rant to you guys about Walmart. Last week, I had a just utterly horrible experience with them. Now, I've always had issues with Walmart's website. I don't see how it's too difficult to make it a competent inventorying system that effectively tells your customer when a product is out of stock. I remember a few years back, I wanted to get an office chair. And so I looked at Walmart's website, and oh boy, they had one in stock. So I go to my dad and I tell him, hey, can I get this office chair? He goes, yeah, that'd probably be a good idea if you're doing schoolwork at your desk, wouldn't it? So we end up going down to Walmart. And keep in mind, on their website, there was no low stock warning. I had filtered it to look specifically in the store. There were no low stock warnings. There were no precautions or anything like that. They just said, yeah, we have it in stock. Well, we get there, and guess what? It's not in stock. So we go and we talk to someone. We talk to some of the employees, see if they have some in the back because the website says it's in stock. Well, no, they don't. And okay, I get that. Mistakes happen. The inventorying system should probably update itself pretty soon, right? Well, for the next 3 weeks, it kept saying that it was in stock when in fact it wasn't. I feel like there should really be some kind of system in place to prevent stuff like that from happening. Because wow, that really sucks as a customer to get lied to over and over again. Because next week when I checked, I thought, oh boy, they got some more in stock. And so, they probably at least update it weekly to make sure that everything's correct. So let's go take a look. So me and my dad drive down to Walmart again. And once again, not in stock. It feels bad to get your time wasted as a consumer. Which brings me to what happened last week. Because after the multiple experiences like that I've had with Walmart, I was down visiting some family where my server is. And lo and behold, I realized that 2 of the drives in my server are failing. So I need to get some replacements, and quick, because I have to be out of there in a few days. And this was right around the Thanksgiving holiday, so I'm kind of accepting in my head, probably not going to be anything that I can really get super quickly. So I go onto Walmart's website and I buy a drive to back everything up onto because I was stupid and didn't make my system a RAID. I didn't have any redundancy in it. I was too poor to afford a good setup at the time, so I just worked with what I had, which was a stripe array. And I do what I can. And as I'm looking on the website, I pick up the external hard drive that I can back everything up onto. And then I go in and I grab 2 2-terabyte drives. And this is all on their website. And so I look at it and they're like, oh yeah, well, we only have 1 in stock, so we'll have to ship 1 to you. And they go, okay. And the website says it can get here by the end of tomorrow. Well, that's great, because I have 2 to 3 days that I can really spend here before I really have to head back to school. So I order it. And sure enough, the backup drive gets delivered, and they decide not to deliver the 1 drive from the store that they had in stock. They ordered in both of them. Which, once again, you could have just had me waiting on 1 product instead of 2. I feel like that would have been a million times more efficient. But I don't know. I don't run a multi-billion-dollar company. But then, we go through the rest of that day, and the drive doesn't get delivered. Now, Walmart's website, because they said it would be delivered by the end of the day, which is 10 p.m. for them. Their system doesn't tell me that there's been a delay until 2 a.m. Now listen, I suck at math. But explain to me how an order that's like an hour late isn't marked as delayed. Cuz I don't know, I feel like an hour delay is enough to catch that, right? You can set some kind of system up, can't you? But no. It took them 4 hours to tell me that it was delayed. Now that's okay. I figured there might be some delay. So the next day comes around, and I wait again. And I wait. And it gets towards the end of the day, and they still haven't delivered it. So they offer me a $15 gift card for my trouble. Sure, because $15 is going to replace all the time and energy that I put into collecting all the data that's sitting on that server right now that has 2 failing drives. Excellent solution for a customer with a time-sensitive need that isn't being filled because your website kind of screwed me over. And now I understand that the fact that we can even produce same-day shipping is a miracle. What bothers me isn't that they weren't able to get it to me in a day or two. What bothers me is that they never bothered to tell me, hey, it's not really going to get here in time. Or they didn't give me an accurate estimate. Because if they had said, hey, it's 2 days out, then I could have just said, okay, I'm going to have to take the server to school with me, and I'm going to have to do all this work, and it's going to be fine. And I could have spent those few days that I spent waiting around for the package, I could have spent that spending time with my family for, the Thanksgiving break. But no, I didn't do that because I was sitting around waiting for the package to arrive and for me to be able to fix my server. Now I understand that that's probably on me. I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have cut my losses and I should have spent time with my family while I could. But no, I was too busy trying to make sure that I don't lose terabytes of data. If they hadn't given me super inaccurate estimates, or if they had just told me pretty early on, hey, it's not going to get there in time, then hey, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. I wouldn't be mad at Walmart for it. But then the end of that second day comes around and I'm scrambling. I'm trying to find some solutions. So I check Walmart's website and it looks like they have 2 of those 2 terabyte hard drives in stock. Well, would you look at that? Lucky day for me. My problems are solved. For some reason they didn't get delivered, but I can drive over there and I can pick up the 2 hard drives, right? Because I can go in the cart and I can add 2 of them and I can say, deliver this to my house. So I go to Walmart, hop in my car, quickly drive over there. And what do I see on the shelf? I see 1 hard drive. Go over to an employee and I ask them, like, hey, do you know where the other one of these is? Because website says you have 2 in stock. I also want to be clear, I don't blame any employees in this. The employees I dealt with were very professional. I always try my best to be polite to those employees because it's not their fault that the website is screwing me over. So this guy tried everything he could to help me. He recommended me some other stores in town that were already closed at the time because, I don't know, I was under the impression that the multi-billion-dollar company was going to give me an accurate estimate. So, yeah. That situation sucked pretty hard. And I got screwed over waiting for that stuff. There was time that I could have spent with my adorable baby niece and my sister and my other family that I had around there. that I unfortunately never got to spend because Walmart couldn't be bothered to give me accurate tracking information. Once again, I want to reiterate, the issue isn't that they couldn't just magically produce a hard drive at my doorstep. The issue is that they never bothered to tell me that there was going to be a problem. And they also never bothered to tell me that there was going to be... They also never bothered to inform me that there was even a chance that it wouldn't be able to get delivered. Because even then, if you think you can make it in a day, but there's like a chance because things are busy that it might get delayed a little bit more, then you can just say expected tomorrow, possibility of it could be 2 days out or something like that. I feel like some kind of system like that would be particularly helpful. And also, Walmart, please fix your gosh dang stocking system. Because my goodness, I shouldn't have to look at your website and get inaccurate stocking information. It makes for a horrible customer experience. It makes for me getting... There was another time. My sister was visiting back home, and there was a heat wave. And so she lives in a bus, and so she was thinking, oh yeah, it'd be nice to get an air conditioner because it's way too hot. So we check Walmart's website, and what does it say? They have an AC in stock. They have an AC that would perfectly work for her bus. Great. So me, my dad, my sister, her partner, we all drive down to Walmart. Guess what wasn't in stock? The AC that they said they had in stock. So we go in and we're thinking, okay, we really need this AC today. What about the Walmart that's half an hour away? So we check the stock of the Walmart that's half an hour away. They say they have it in stock. So we drive down there. We drive down to the Walmart that's half an hour away. Pretty out of our way, not a trip we intended to make, and that's gas money. Well, guess who also didn't have the AC in stock? You guessed it, the Walmart that was half an hour away. So then we had to scramble around to some of the other stores around in the area to see if they had an AC. Now, luckily, that trip wasn't in vain, and we didn't waste all that gas money, and we were able to find an AC and get that installed for them. And I'm very happy about that, because that would have really screwed us over to just drive it's an hour round trip. To take that trip and just not get anything out of it, that's a lot of wasted gas. And it boggles my mind that you just can't effectively coordinate that to be able to be communicated through your website. How does that work? Because somehow Amazon does it. Amazon tends to get things pretty spot on. I can only think of a few times that I've ordered from Walmart, or that I can think of many times that I've tried to buy something from Walmart and it hasn't come in, as I've talked about in this video. But I can only think of a few times where I ordered from Amazon, and then Amazon was just like, hey, it's going to take a lot longer than expected. I can only think of a few times, and I specifically remember those times were because of like workers' strikes and stuff like that. There were some situations that wasn't the company, misinterpreting things or, making a mistake. It was people actively stepping in the way of me getting my product delivered on time. And okay, they can't account for that. That's not on them, I don't think. But to just go through that situation of just not being able to get all this stuff sorted out when there are other companies that operate on much larger scales that are able to do that? Maybe I'm completely maybe I'm totally misinterpreting this, and I'm wrong, and I'm being ridiculous for wanting them to have a competent inventorying system. But I think if I look on your website and you say you have something in stock, when I walk in the store, you should have that in stock. Because I could have made a long trip to get there. And I hate ordering things online. To be clear, I don't like ordering from Amazon. I don't like companies that are essentially monopolies in their space. So, yeah, not a big fan of that. But I hate to say it, but it seems like the monopoly is the only option to get things. Because guess who did deliver my hard drives? Amazon did. And guess who delivered my hard drives not on the day that they were expected, but a day early? Amazon did. Yeah, it's a pretty sucky situation because I'd rather not support the monopolies. But when one monopoly lets you down, you kind of have to turn to the other one. And I think that's a pretty horrible situation to be in. Because by the time I really realized, okay, it's not going to get there in time, by the time I looked around there, everywhere else that I could possibly buy a hard drive was closed or was an hour away. Walmart, get your crap fixed. Because I'm sick and tired of your website lying to me. Make it work. Make it work right. And make the customer experience a good one. Don't screw me over because I'm sick and tired of you lying to me about what's in stock. I can understand if a product sells out in one day, then yeah, your website might not be able to catch up. But don't tell me something is in stock for 3 weeks when it sold out on day 1. That isn't an error in your system. That's just false advertising. And that's trying to get me into the store when I really shouldn't have to be in your store. I know a lot of people are probably just going to say, well, just order online. Well, guess what? They're calculating when they can deliver something to you by what's in stock at what stores. If their website isn't able to effectively calculate what is in stock at what stores, then how in the world are they going to deliver it to me? When they don't know where their own crap is, how are they then supposed to make sure that it gets delivered to me? Because if they can't figure out where their own stuff is, then I don't trust them to deliver anything to me. Overall, this entire situation sucks. And it cost my family a week of not having access to my server, which we use for media storage and stuff like that. So yeah, screw you, Walmart. Fix your crap. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.